They didn't give him success because he deserved it. They gave it to see what he'd become once he had it. And when the test was over, they erased him. This is not a story about luck. This is a story about a man who was lifted on purpose, just to find out how hard he'd fall. Ethan Cole had perfected the art of being unnoticed. He walked fast, spoke softly, and never complained. He didn't expect applause. He just wanted acknowledgement. At 32, Ethan lived in a one-bedroom apartment where the walls were thin and the silence was thick. Every night he ate dinner in front of a muted television, not because he was watching, but because silence reminded him too much of himself. At work, he sat in the same corner cubicle for 7 years. 7. New hires came in younger, louder, more confident. They rose fast. Ethan trained some of them, then watched them become his supervisors. No bitterness, no anger. Just a quiet question he never said out loud. What am I missing? The one person who saw him. There was only one person who never treated Ethan like he was invisible. Maya. She worked in compliance, 2 floors above him. They met by accident, sharing an elevator one night after overtime. She noticed his exhaustion. He noticed her kindness. They started having coffee, then dinners, then long conversations about dreams neither of them felt brave enough to chase. Maya believed in Ethan loudly, even when he didn't. "You're better than where you are," she told him once. "You just don't know it yet." Ethan believed in effort, believed in patience, believed that one day someone would notice consistency. He didn't know that consistency had already made him visible, because someone had been watching him long before he ever noticed. The email arrived at 11:47 p.m. Subject: confidential opportunity. Immediate response required. Ethan assumed it was spam, but something stopped him from deleting it. The message was brief, clinical, almost cold. "We have reviewed your professional output anonymously. Your decision-making patterns are of interest to us. If you agree, an interview has been scheduled tomorrow at 9 a.m. No company name, no signature." Ethan barely slept. The office building the next morning was unremarkable. Gray glass, no logo. Inside, the air felt controlled, too quiet, like a hospital corridor. 3 people sat across from him. They didn't ask about his resume, they asked about him. What would you do if you were suddenly powerful? When does loyalty become corruption? If everyone obeys you, who are you then? Ethan answered honestly. Not bravely, not cleverly, just honestly. At the end, one of them folded their hands and said, "We're offering you a position." The salary figure made Ethan laugh out loud. He thought it was a mistake. It wasn't. When Ethan told Maya that night, she hugged him tightly. "I'm proud of you," she said. And for the first time, he believed he deserved to be. That was the moment his old life ended. Even though he didn't know it yet, success didn't explode into Ethan's life. It slid in quietly. A new apartment with floor-to-ceiling windows, a company credit card, a black car that waited every morning. No orientation, no coworkers, just responsibility. People listened when he spoke. That alone changed everything. For the first time in his life, Ethan felt heard. And the most dangerous thing about power is that it feels like healing. People changed toward him. Old co-workers smiled nervously. Managers asked for his approval. Strangers treated him with respect. Even his family's tone shifted. His father, who once said, "Don't aim too high," now asked for advice. Maya noticed the changes too. He canceled dinners, checked his phone mid-conversation, started saying things like, "You wouldn't understand this world." Not cruelly, casually. Power didn't make him evil, it made him busy, and every time Ethan asserted control, the company rewarded him. Bonuses, access, influence. What Ethan didn't realize was that rewards weren't encouragement, they were reinforcement. The decisions started small. Fire one employee quietly. Delay information to avoid panic. Shift responsibility to protect profit. Each choice came wrapped in logic. Each compromise felt reasonable. And every time Ethan hesitated, he was gently nudged. "This is how leadership works," they said. "This is what separates winners from the rest." Late at night, Ethan stared at the city below. He told himself he hadn't changed, but something disturbed him deeply. He no longer asked if something was right, only whether it was efficient. Because the real test wasn't about morality. It was about how quickly he'd stop questioning it. Then came the file. A quiet internal case. A whistleblower. Ethan opened it and froze. Maya. She had uncovered financial irregularities. She refused to stay silent. The report labeled her disruptive. Ethan's hands trembled. He could stop it, delay it, protect her. The call came moments later. "This decision defines leadership," they told him. "Personal attachments compromise judgment." Ethan signed. He told himself it was temporary. He told himself he'd fix it later. Maya was fired that afternoon, escorted out, blacklisted. She called him once. Ethan watched the phone ring and didn't answer. The moment he did that, the test was over. He just didn't know it yet. 6 months in, Ethan stood above everyone he once envied. His name carried weight. And then they gave him everything. Total control, total authority, total trust. One of the founders finally spoke plainly. "This position defines who you are." Ethan believed it. He thought this was the reward. It was the final exam. The mistake was minor, fixable. Ethan expected support. Instead, silence. Meetings canceled. Emails unanswered. The car didn't arrive. Security took his badge. He demanded answers. They said, "There's been a review." And reviews are never about what you did wrong, only what they were waiting to confirm. Same room, same people. This time, no politeness. They told him everything. The company wasn't real. It was a behavioral assessment program. They engineered success to study character. Every choice logged, every rationalization measured. They didn't care about profit. They studied who people were willing to sacrifice to stay powerful. Ethan hadn't failed professionally. He failed ethically. In one day, everything vanished. Money, status, reputation, even his apartment. The world erased him as efficiently as it elevated him. But the cruelest truth wasn't losing everything. It was realizing why he'd been given it. Weeks later, Ethan saw Maya by chance. She didn't shout, didn't accuse. She simply said, "I wondered how much they had to give you to make you choose yourself." Then she walked away. Ethan returned to obscurity, but now sometimes he notices someone rising fast, chosen, lifted, watched. He wants to warn them, but he doesn't, because he knows the cruel truth now. The test only works if you believe the success is real. Success isn't proof of worth, it's exposure. Power doesn't change people, it reveals them. And somewhere, right now, another ordinary person is being chosen.